Chat about carburetors. Alright, a lot of guys that are a little younger than me. I'm 54 years old. I turned 55 on Monday. And I know a little bit about some things and not a lot about other things. But anyway, what did I do growing up? Well, I was a machinist. I worked at Midwestern Motor Rebuilders in Tulsa. My favorite job was Dick Moritz at Moritz Machine Shop. I was a crankshaft grinder. I also ground cranks at Midwestern and worked in their head shop, putting in guide liners and stuff, K-line tools. But mainly I ground cranks, so, there's engine builders, there's engine assemblers, and there's hobbyists like me, and machinists. There's all kinds of, people that have like expertise in certain things. I'm not an expert of everything. I'm not going to say I am. But one thing I do notice is a lot of guys, especially the younger guys, they haven't had any experience with carburetors. Yes, they don't get the gas mileage. Yes. And there's debate on what makes more power. Well, a carburetor generally at wide open throttle will make more power. Just a little bit, we're not talking a lot, but is it worth it? At $5 a gallon or more? That's up to you. But I like period correct stuff. So we got a 70s vet, I got a 70s power plant. That's what I like. There's a 406, 220 heads, nothing special. It's faster than 165 horsepower this thing came with. So that's what I wanted. So it's got as much power as a stock LS3 and then some, without the nitrous. So let's talk about why I'm here. I'm talking about carbs. I know you guys probably know all you know about your car. You got the Hondas, you got the VTECs, you got the LSs, and I've had an LS3. I liked it a lot, and it was a powerful motor, got great gas mileage, but there ain't no payment on this guy. But anyway, all right, this is an HP 950. It's really not an HP. HP is actually a Holley. So this would be like a quick fuel 950, but it's not even really that. It's a Barry Grant 950. And it had Barry Grant bowls on it, but I had this big log, and my log didn't have the sizes for the bowls, so I took some bowls off of an old Holley I have. I have a bunch of Hollies. But anyway, let's talk about how these things work. They're a little bit more than a controlled fuel leak that everybody says they are. Just like a transmission has circuits where fluid flows, similarly, a carburetor also has circuits. And this is what you call a double pumper. So you got a accelerator pump there. Notice how it's kind of thick. That would be a 50 cc accelerator pump. When the throttle goes down, that pushes a lever that forces gas from the bowl through this little hole on this side right there. That's the feed, up through this circuit, and then that goes up to your nozzle. Then you have different sizes here. This is a what is that, 31, and over here we got a 40, I think, something. What is it? I think it's a 45, actually. It's a pretty big one. You can probably see the hole. Pretty good size. These are dog leg because they're going down. There's different types of boosters. This is a booster. So air will flow faster through a booster. Some aerodynamic stuff going on there too. So anyway, you have 4-way idle on a race carburetor. So this would be a double pumper HP or / race carburetor, not a Dominator. This is actually a probably an 830 CFM carb. Back in the 90s, whenever it was built, it's got an 850 base plate. That's a base plate down here. On the base plate, you got vacuum. It's going over to my brake booster. You got vacuum going over to the to the distributor. And on a full-on race car, you probably wouldn't even have this connected. Because I have a trans brake and a TH400, I don't even have a vacuum to anything else except my gauge. So, but normally you would have on a street car, you'd have another vacuum line going down to your transmission, depending on what kind of transmission you got. But the carburetor has vacuum lines, ports. There's one over here that is ported that I have plugged up, and then there's a manifold one right here that I have connected, and that's up to your desires on whether or not you want to run it. Let's go back to these accelerator pumps. All right, that's a 50cc. Let me walk around the car real quick. I'll show you what a 30cc is. That one, notice how thin it is? It's really small. It only goes from there to there. That's a 30cc. So you also you have cams. Now you think of a cam as an internal part of the car, but these little plastic things here, they change the way how much pressure or when this is engaged and how far and how fast based on the cam color and size and where you've located it on the holes. So we go over here to the primary, and primary is the first two barrels. That's what the car would drive around town with. And this cam is a brown cam. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. That's a brown cam. I personally like the brown, pink, and black cams with a 50cc. I like the white, green, and pink for the 30cc. It just depends on how you want to tune it. Do you want it to come on really hard and fast on your accelerator pump? For your accelerator pump? And let's explain that a little bit. I almost finished explaining it, but anyway, it shoots up through there, it goes in here, so when you first give it gas, it shoots out gas to make the motor get a shot of gas before the main circuit kicks in. Now this is called a power valve here. It kicks on when it detects pressure or your vacuum goes down. So when you floor it, your vacuum dips. And they come in different sizes for different cams. Now I'm talking engine cams. Like if your vacuum of your motor is only like, say, 8, then maybe you want a 4, one that opens up at 4 pounds of vacuum to let fuel in. So when you floor it, it lets more fuel in. But there's a transition period where this guy's feeding the fuel to the motor, and then that pump runs out, and then the main circuit pulls the gas down, and that runs out of gas and stops. So that doesn't flow all the time like on a car with a an injector. It's not an injector. It's actually just enough to get it through that transition period of giving it throttle. So when you go full throttle, both pumps squirt, and both pumps stop squirting at whatever value you got based on those cams, and then the main circuit comes in and sucks gas through these slots. Let's see if I can zoom in on one of those slots. So right over here, there's the slot. You see that slot? That little slot there? Looks like I got this one open a little bit too much. Yeah, I'm gonna have to jack with that a little bit. You only want that thing open like there, but it depends on your cam. You got a big cam, sometimes you need a little bit more transition slots. You sometimes even need to drill a hole in the butterflies. That's not all there is to know about a car.